out or Atlantic Sunday, and it's a syndicated live program of the network featuring chit-chatting and conversations on special interest topics on news events and stories through correspondence reports and expert opinion and stakeholders analysis. We have a lot on our table for today, and we have our guests seated in the studio. Some of the topics we'll be looking at is this one from Ogun State, where doctors threaten strike and issue ultimatum. And then from Plateau, warns criminals preventing agricultural activities. And then from Yobe State, ASU faults on the funding students loan. And then we'll move straight to the National Assembly. Reps Committee urges ASU alternative funding. And then on debt burden, presidency issues clarity on DMO reports. And then we move straight to the next story, that's on electricity, where NERC approves 21 billion naira for discos meter purchases. On economic hardship, focus on solutions, Obi tells Tinubu. And then we'll look at this story on cholera outbreak. Nigeria runs out of vaccine. Death toll also increases, a lot happening at the same time. Let's take a short time out, and when we return, we'll introduce our guests and delve straight into the stories. Please stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Honorable Abel Abraham is our guest today on Atlantic Sunday, and we will get to find out more about his analysis of the stories that we have and that we'll be taking this morning. Good morning, Honorable Abel.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Very fine, and you?
Great. Good to have you on Atlantic Sunday.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go straight to it. The Ogun State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association, that's the NMA, have issued a 21-day ultimatum to the state government threatening industrial action due to poor working conditions. And the association's chairman, Dr. Kunle Ashimi, has said that at a news conference in Abeokuta on Friday that the ultimatum that was issued on June 7 would expire on Thursday, June 27, 2024. Now, according to him, members will not or will have no choice but to embark on strike unless the government addresses their concerns. He said unless the state government takes immediate action to address their concerns, members will embark on industrial action. And then he also highlighted that despite the ongoing discussions with relevant government officials currently, there have been only verbal assurances without any formal commitment. These are his words. He has urged the citizens of Ogun State to pressure the government into taking necessary steps to prevent the looming strike, which could disrupt health services across the state. This is not even funny. Imagine doctors going on strike. I remember the last time it happened. I don't know if that was the last time, but I remember one of the times it happened where doctors of a particular teaching hospital actually went on strike. It was not funny. A lot of people lost their loved ones. A lot of health cases deteriorated. A lot of things happened, and it definitely affected the economy. Anyhow you want to see it, we will trace it back to the economy. So what's your take on this particular story?
All right. If you've listened to me before now, you understand that I keep saying that most times the government officials, they keep coming to tell you we are handling the situations, and there's no commitment towards anything backing whatever they are saying to the people. So it has become a menace because it seems like they take a lot of us for granted. Now, looking at Dr. Shimi, he's an orthopedic surgeon with over 8 years of experience, and likes of him heading the Ogun State anyway, and coming to complain poor working condition. And this is the same period we are having this Japa syndrome, where a lot of best medical doctors and practitioners are leaving the country because of the same issue. Now, if somebody of that magnitude, Dr. Shimi, is complaining and that the government is not giving them listening ears, and for how many weeks now, no serious commitment
just
towards
conversations.
Yes, it does not show that the government they have the interest of the populace, because now we are all seeing the medical doctors going to strike now. We see them as wicked people, but then again, look at these people are doing their jobs. They are not being paid very well. Don't have any conducive working environment. How do you expect them to bring in their best? It's just like you are ready to work, you're ready to do your best, but you don't have the facilities, you don't have the conducive working environment. How do you want me to manipulate this? It's not a magical work. Imagine a situation where you need to perform surgery or in a theater. You don't have electricity, you don't have the equipment. So how do you do those jobs? I come to work, you want me to buy those things? I don't understand. So these people are actually crying out, not because they want this for their personal need. They did. If you check, they didn't say they need television at home or fridge or personal cars. They are complaining of poor working conditions, and this will also enable them to do well. So I'm begging the government of the day, as much as we want to buy cars, better our own self as public officer, we should also look at these health professionals, most importantly, because they are the common people that go to hospitals, cannot afford the private trips to foreign countries or the private hospitals, because even I sitting here, there are some hospital bills I will run away from because there are so much. So the government of the day should look into that situation, because if time after this whole issue and no positive outcome, a lot of them there will run away.
You know, we had a health practitioner the other day as a guest here, and he told us about a particular lecturer who said almost half of his class, or they already graduated, but almost half of that set have left the country. Few days ago, I was scrolling through the internet and I saw a particular paper. It was a heading in the news that there are vacancies for health practitioners in a particular country, and I saw it a few days ago again. So it's no longer as difficult as it used to be to get a job outside or to leave the country. And aside the brain drain going on in the health sector, we also have Nigerians in general trooping out of the country. In fact, there was a story about it was said in the US, I think, that the citizens no longer have the right to bring in their spouses who are non-citizens. It's no longer legal now. So that's going to, I imagine some Nigerians who are planning to become citizens of the probably US, I think, through that means. That's something that
now,
they're going
to... one thing again.
That's like bad news for them.
Sorry, most of the people traveling out, most of them are not leaving because they want to settle down there. The same issue of working conditions, conducive environment, good pay. You understand? Now, if the system is not working, we all know the system is not working, how would a government pay more interest in buying luxury cars to members of House of Assemblies and this, and you neglect the medical sector? So, and these people, once they see any opportunity out there, because those Western people, they value lives. That's why you say, sorry, America will just go to war because of one citizen. They will tell you, no, because of that one person, we are coming to fight. So they value lives, and they make everything available. So when you see these people, after coming out from nursing school or medical school, and the next place, after your husbandship, you don't even have a better place to practice. A lot of parks, clinics, and everywhere. Then you go to the government hospital, they will owe you no payment of salary, no
what do they call it? Those
updated equipment.
so you end up your life doing below standard, where your counterparts that left for the other side are what equipped for to practice with one of the maybe world best. You understand? So they prefer going there for a better pay, a better environment, a better benefits, and for their family, because we all would not live on this earth forever. So the little time you have, you use it excellently. So I wouldn't blame those people leaving. If our government really want to retain these people, give them a better working environment and condition, they will stay.
So what do you think the government is not aware of what is going on in the health sector, or probably the government is not aware that this is why we are having brain drain? What do you think is the drawback in putting all of these things in place?
One thing about leadership is people that are passionate about changing lives, and people that are just power hungry. You know, these two different things. People that are passionate about changing life, once anything comes to their table and they know this thing would affect the lives of the people, they are ready to put in their lives there. But these other people that are just power, they don't care. They don't care. So if you check the whole situation, if you also check the states, or some states in Nigeria, you will notice that some other states are doing very well than other states. Funny enough, most of the states doing very well are even taking lesser monthly revenue from the federal government than other states. So it now boils down to the leadership in the position there, because this other person has more interest in the people, and this other person maybe has interest in just being a leader or just being a political figure and do his thing. So it all boils down to the leader. Because if they don't want to fix it, there's nothing we can do. They're all fixable.
Even if we have a leader who we assume is not passionate about leadership and not passionate about the people, then what happens to the measures that are already on ground to check the excesses of these leaders? If I have a company and I employ you, and it happens to be that you are not passionate about your job, it should not affect my work.
Okay.
I have put things on ground. I have put, there's what they call hierarchy. There are people on ground to check your excesses. There are measures on ground. There are things that should be done to check your excesses. So if you bring your lack of passion and you're not functioning well, then the system already should be able to call you back to order. So do you even feel like Nigerians are holding our leaders responsible enough for their actions?
Our constitution, first of all, gives immunity to the incumbent government.
True.
Which is one thing I think we should deal seriously with.
You're also against that?
Why should somebody, we give you a job to direct us, to guide us, to lead us, in short, to go and bring something for us? You're now doing corruption there, and you're telling us we don't have anything, we can't say anything, we don't even have any power, but we gave you that power through the voting process. Now, why should a government have that immunity when you're in power? You can do anything, you can misbehave, you can misappropriate.
I don't think that's what the immunity is for. It's not to encourage them to misbehave.
But that's what they are doing.
Carry out
That's what they are doing.
funds misappropriation.
That's what they are doing. What are they doing? That's what they are doing. What I don't know how to explain, but that's what they are doing. Because you tell, because you're a governor, you have immunity, nobody will come and talk to you except you just do anyhow you are. We have the House of Assembly, and if you start any process of impeachment now, you've divided the state into 2 or 3. So the whole system in Nigeria now looks like it's kind of family affairs. They make the politics look like I'm in this family A, family B, and it's not helping our economy. It's not helping any of our sector, most especially the educational sector and the medical sector, because when we tend to apply emotions, family sentiments, political sentiments to things that has facts, real facts, that means we are becoming ignorant of the situation. You know that this thing, you need to add A and B to get C. But because you have family sentiment and it's telling you don't add the B, so that you still remain my party member. This other hope, they don't add the A because you still remain my ethnic group. So at the end of this summation, we will not be able to have the C, because this one is supporting his leader that says don't add it because of party affiliation, and the other one is telling you don't add it because of family. So we are all being sentimental.
We're politicizing
everything.
What we're not supposed to.
That's true.
All right, so let's actually hope that the doctors do not go on strike. Let's hope that something will be done. They're saying that we're only hearing talks. We want to see more
They
action.
should commit to them more.
We want to see commitment to what you're actually saying. We have Labour that went on strike. Now we have ASU saying they're going to go on strike. And now NMA also coming out to say we're going on strike. If everybody goes on strike, what then happens? It means that then very soon we'll have the citizens going on strike because of the hike in the prices of goods, because every one of us have something that we're aggrieved about. But let's look at this story now from Plateau State. It's talking about the army and it's talking about agriculture. This is another important thing that should be discussed. The General Officer Commanding GOC 3 Division Commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdul Salam Abubakar, has warned criminal elements preventing farming and food production in Plateau State to desist from their act, as anyone caught will be decisively dealt with. Now, the commander also cautioned against insightful and hate speeches, saying these raise tension that negatively impact society and also impacts food production. He spoke on Thursday during the Peace Summit organized by the Correspondents Chapel of the Nigeria Union of Journalists in Plateau State in collaboration with Operation Safe Haven for Youths in 5 local government areas of Mangu, Bokos, Jos South, Bakinladi and Riom. Now, the event, with the theme promoting inter-ethnic and inter-religious dialogue towards ensuring food security in Plateau State, was held at the Bakinladi local government area, and now participants were from diverse religious and tribal groups. That's about the events. Now let's go back to the statement that was made by the army, issuing a warning to those people who find a habit of disrupting the activities of farming in our society. This is not just happening in Plateau State. We've had the farmer headers clashes, we've had some unknown gunmen going into farms and raiding farms and all of that, and then farmers being scared of going to their farmlands, and then it's having a ripple effect on the prices of goods and even services in the market. This is a very big issue that should be discussed. Yes, Honorable Abel.
I'm in the opinion that there should be a law that will give farmers immunity. Now, because looking at Nigeria as a country, food is very expensive.
Very expensive.
For example, if you're earning 500K, just know that inside that that money you're earning, half of it is going to food. Now, the situation whereby people are farming to make food available for the citizens, and people are attacking them. They should put it as a law that when those people, that anybody that attacks any farmer across Nigeria, it's not about the northern part, just is the food basket of the country. It should be that anywhere in Nigeria you attack farmers, you should be jailed.
Well, don't you think it's already in the Constitution where we talk about insecurity now, right? You attack, whether the person is a farmer or not. If you attack a human being,
no, we should pay more emphasis on the farming, because.
So what happens to the one already in the Constitution?
We all know that the government is to protect lives and property. They have failed already now, but this one we are trying to secure the food, because we'll soon start eating sand if we don't protect that one. Before you have strength to complain of securing your house and your car, you should be able to eat first. So we should pay more emphasis on securing our food, because, okay, imagine now you now go to the market, they tell you there's scarcity of onions, and for 6 months we don't have onions. Imagine
like you went to the market recently.
Imagine the malnutrition. Just imagine that no onions, no pineapple, no. So we should protect the food me, I love food so much. So they should protect that food
I
side.
see the passion and we
Yes.
saying they should protect
We,
our
we,
food.
with that food, I don't think any of us will have the energy to go about our daily
We
activities.
won't even be having this conversation.
Yes, so before the life and properties, which is basic responsibility of our leaders, that's what they took oath of office. And I'm so perplexed that these people, they swore with Bible and Quran, and they are misbehaving. I don't know why they don't want to.
But we cannot take away the fact that our security operatives have been working.
Okay.
If we check the news, as much as we check, we find stories of insurgency, insecurity, banditry, and all of that. We also find stories of police, remanding certain people, raiding a particular environment, and arresting those that need to be arrested. We see cases being followed through to the latter. So we cannot completely take that out and say security operatives are not doing anything.
Actually, yeah, when it comes to security, one of my publication in respect to my research work, that we should introduce a 6-month crash course. Every 6 months, all security operatives should be going for 2 weeks course. They are going to write exams. Now, that 2 weeks course, intensive learning process of how to behave and how to handle issues. Because most of them, after they have gone through the process of being recruited into the Nigeria police force or the military force, they don't even go into anything that will tell them how to behave. Anybody that tries to educate them, they will be violent against that person. Are you trying to teach me my work? Are you trying to tell me? Some of them don't even know the act governing what they are doing. So I think if we introduce, because one thing that makes people more efficient in their job is the introduction of the learning processes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't introduce that, these people will keep acting in error. You see, a police officer and a military officer, most of them don't know how to relate community relations with the civilians. We are not supposed to be afraid of you. We are supposed to be very friendly and report incidents. But when we see you, we are afraid. So when we start becoming afraid of you, that means you already a threat to us. So we are not friendly. You understand? So I think there should be a process where these people will have orientation programs or crash courses every 6 months. Every 6 months, you will make them a better person first, even before serving in that commission. Because most of the issues happening in that in Plateau is because communal crisis. And when the security operatives come, they tend to take sides. You see, it's from this ethnic group, this ethnic group. They now make it, like I said earlier.
You've seen cases like that
Of
Plateau?
course. We've been to police station to handle some cases of 2 security persons that they had the fight, you understand? This one is from Akwa Ibom, this other one is from the north. And the police officer was an Hausa man, and he now said, they released the other one. We were looking for him. We had to pay for this other guy's bail, like, you understand? What happened to the other guy? They just, because he was able to speak their language. So we don't want to do this, because Nigeria...
It should actually be more than just being able to speak your dialect.
Yes, the ethnic
Yes.
issue.
You know, when we talk about training and retraining, it's very important for every profession. But recently we had in the news that the recruitment process in police, there were talks that there was some corruption and some names were included among the 10,000 names that were released. Some names of people, according to allegations, some names of people that didn't even pass the medical test, or people that did this and that. So that talk has been on. They're saying, oh, show me evidence. They're telling the IG now, show us evidence that this was what happened, and all of those talks are on now. So how do we solve the problem? Let's assume, okay, it's still in court, so we cannot conclude yet until that is concluded. But if we're having cases of corruption in the recruitment process of the people who are going to safeguard our lives and properties, then that's something that should definitely be looked into. Because how do we stop, if we begin the training process like you have recommended, how do we stop the cases of corruption coming into the picture? Looking like anything we do is looking like even in sectors and agencies that we shouldn't find cases like that, we find cases of corruption.
Now, in my own understanding, corruption is presenting a false image of something for your personal benefits. False image of whatever it is for your personal benefits. Now, first of all, before people will infuse names that were not part of a recruitment process, because there is no job. So anything employment that has stable job security, they know that one has pensionable and there's job security. They won't just sack you like a private company. They maneuver their way in. If there are jobs in this country, who will even be doing corruption to enter any sector at all? So everybody will like, I have passion for policing job. Okay, I will go there. I have passion for FROC. I will go there. But because there are no job, most persons going there, they don't even have passion for the police job. They just want food on their table. So you see them going there, they will be angry, sitting down. When you don't have passion for a job, every Monday, this work. And there will be cause for alarm. You must do something that will make you have money. And in the course of you doing that thing to get money, you falsify information just to benefit your personal interest. That is the corruption. They are not passionate. When you hear people being passionate about their job, man, it's not about just the pay. They just want to see people happy, making lives happy, seeing people smiling at the cost of their duty, delivering their jobs. You understand? But these other people, they are not after you. That's why you go to most of these civil service commission and permanent secretaries, and you see a civil servant very bitter. They want to attend to you. They will be talking as if you are the person owing. Yes, somebody will like, see, I didn't come here for you. And some of them are selling Zobo on their decks. So they are not even okay. They are not contented with their job. They are even selling Zobo. They will tell you, before I sign this thing, you will bring 500 naira. You must buy my Zobo. So you buy their Zobo, and they append whatever they need to stamp. And you need that stamp before you move to the next office. So most of them will like, see, stay there. Don't come and disturb me here. This is my office. No, you are a public servant, for goodness sake. You are paid from taxpayers' money.
Giving the orientation, because you just raised a very serious concern now, and it takes my mind back to all the times, back then in school. Let's talk about the registrations before you get in, and the registrations before you get out.
Yes.
And then after that, when you go for youth service, the registrations, it's a lot, right?
Yes.
So when you have cases when you need to, even when you want to do your national identity card and all of those things, when you have anything that takes you in front of some of these public officers, their countenance, their communication skills, it begs the question, is there any form of training going on for these people to really understand that you are serving the public? You knock on the door is a problem. You don't knock on the door is a problem. You step in, it's a problem. You don't come in, it's a problem. So
if unluckily for you, they find out any mistake, they will roast you. Why, as old as, they will be talking to people as old as you don't know that you're supposed to bring this. You're a public servant. You have to serve the public. And if anybody by well-meaning wish to tip you, it's personal. I might want to tip you because I love the way you attended to me, and I love the way you were going, throughout the process of my job with you. So I will tip you. It's not a crime to tip, but most organizations will tell you don't tip our staffs, you understand? But you don't make it necessary that you must tip me, you must buy what is on my table before I will do my job as a public servant. And it's because we don't introduce this process of training and checkmating. There is what we call check and balances in a society. I think every organization should have QA and QC.
I think we don't have that.
I don't know. It's functional. It's functioning. I don't know. We should have QA and QC, quality assurance and quality control unit. Now, that will be checkmating people that are not doing their jobs. Like I said earlier, when I was in school, in primary school in Akwa Ibom State, we used to have supervisors in education coming from the Ministry of Education, checkmating every school on Fridays. Most times they will come on Mondays and Fridays to check our papers, our notebooks, check what they are teaching.
I hope that's still going on.
I don't know because
Because I know you frequent Akwa Ibom a lot.
Yes. But I'm not, I don't work in that sector. So the problem here is we tend to do more of politics now than building the system. And when we are focusing on who leads the ship instead of maintaining the ship, soon the leader will take the ship to the middle of the high sea, and all the leakages, everybody will.
But what do you think the community can do? Probably the head of the communities, even the security around. What do you think they can do to put an end to some of these insurgencies that are going on in the farmland?
First, I will check. I will say my contribution to this, because the kind of leadership we are practicing in Nigeria was not meant to be used in this kind of situation, the country we find ourselves. Because once you are not loyal to whoever is the governor, you are being seen as a tyrant, or somebody that is acting a treasonable offense. Most of the issues happening because we have so many loyalists to the government, and government alone cannot build industry. Government alone cannot sustain local securities. The issue there, if we have a system of community process, I think the community, the state policing will also help a lot. If we have a system whereby the community will be stakeholders in securing their community, it will go a long way. Now, also, I remember these people talking about the anti-grazing bill where the cows cannot move around. Most of those people causing this communal crisis are herders, moving from other communities, and they don't really know this people's farmland, so they move around with their cows, and so it affects a lot. We need to revisit our constitution. Most of our laws, they are outdated. They are archaic. They are not something we can implement in this 21st century, because it's just like teaching formulas that they are upgrading every day. So we need to upgrade a lot of things there.
That's what we're actually doing now.
So we should upgrade a lot of things and how we handle those conflicts, because as long as human beings are staying together, there must be a place for conflict and crisis. It's how we handle these things that make matters. So we can't just say that we can pull off crisis or clear off conflict. There's tendency that it will keep happening, but the ability for us to minimize it and handle it for the profitability of everyone is what matters, because on the long run we need food. So we should secure the farmers. We should put more orientation that we need to secure our farms, and you see, if you go to most places, you see their farmlands are outskirts of where people are staying. So we need to have community securities that work around, whereby the government of the day will pay them on payrolls. Their job is to secure the farmlands, so these farmers can comfortably go to their farmland and carry out their duties, because at the end of the day, we need those cash crops, those stuff they are bringing out for our daily upkeep. Of course we do. We need it. Please.
Now let's look at the next story, talking about the House of Representatives Committee on University Education. They have visited the University of Abuja, Uni Abuja. Then they have urged institutions, Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to call off its ongoing strike. And the chairman of the committee, Abubakar Falata, in an interview with newsmen shortly after Friday's visit in Abuja, he said the appeal became necessary to prevent destabilizing the academic calendar. And the lawmaker said that the visit aligned with the constitutional provisions that are empowering legislators to carry out oversight functions over ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure compliance with the Appropriation Act. And he has called on the institution's management to also judiciously utilize what was provided in line with the 2024 Appropriation Act. Now, he has advised them to seek additional ways to fund the university instead of relying almost absolutely on governance. Now, the reps has felt that they feel like this is one of the biggest problems of ASU always going on strike. Now, this is just ASU Uni Abuja, even though they created awareness, it was in the news yesterday that they were creating awareness on their intending strike, telling stakeholders, look, we're going to go on strike. In fact, it's going to be a nationwide strike, according to ASU of Uni Abuja and the stories that were out there in the news yesterday. Now, the reps are saying, look for alternative funding instead of almost completely relying on the government, because when you do that, that is when you keep saying, oh, they're not doing this, the government has not given us money for this and the government has not given us money for that. But what do you think about reps making this particular statement?
Okay, before I would dive into the reps coming to Abuja, Uni Abuja, the genesis of that problem was because there were internal crises in Uni Abuja. The illegal appointments, internal appointments, the election of the deanship, and some promotions that were illegal, and the establishment of the microfinance. So that's why it's just the Uni Abuja ASU strike. Now it's an internal crisis. Now because of political tussle, they want to make it look more like it's a common interest. If you check, most persons are still having lectures.
But are we really going to call those appointments and promotions illegal?
That was the basic.
Because they said that they did not follow due process. That's
Yes.
ASU's claim now. But then the university are saying, we don't know what those people are talking about. We have the right to promote who we want to promote and all of that. So it's looking like the two of them are not on the same table. So do we, at the end of the day,
now if you can see here, the reps member, when they came there, they were addressing how you can generate funds. They didn't tackle that issue. They were not making any comment as regards to those stuffs, because it's political already. Now, looking at that situation, I think the school, that's what led them to establish the microfinance bank, so they can manage their funds and see how they can invest and do other stuffs like that. Now, looking at the reps' recommendation, they should generate funds for their welfare and runnings of the school. Education is very expensive, because if you look at the other part of the world, Nigeria has the cheapest, should I say, the cheapest education.
That's what reports say.
Yeah, Nigeria has the cheapest education, because very expensive, because places like US.
Okay, yeah, that was what the Minister of Education said recently. So that we have the cheapest.
Yes, because if you check other places, what you pay per section is running to 50 million in Nigeria currency. So if we as Nigerians really want quality education, we should also put in place a system that will give us quality education, and we pay for it. Why I'm saying that? Because whatever you get cheap, you will not value. Once you know you're paying highly for this education, you sit down and read. You sit down and study, So, but once you're paying 30K, 20K is after all, I can forfeit the school fees. So I think not just paying high fees or generating money from the students, we should also be able to give quality education to the people, the students that are seeking this education. But education in Nigeria is cheap, and we don't expect the universities to run the universities from the money they are getting from the student, because most times, before the end of the semester or section, most students don't even pay their school fees. Some have not even done the acceptance. So, and we have, for example, in each department, for example, we have 100 persons, and only 50 have paid their school fees.
But let's not forget that these universities do not run on autonomy.
Yes.
Even the funds that are coming in, they're not the ones really using the funds. So when they talk about getting alternative funding, right, they're looking at investment in other things, invest in other things, look at other ways to make money to run the school. But should that really be something that should be discussed? That's what I'm trying to get your thought on now. Should the reps be telling the universities to look for alternative funding instead of solely depending on the government? That's where I'm trying to get your thoughts on.
The university, depending solely on the government, will jeopardize most of their plans, because if you've seen, a lot of universities have bottling waters, they have bakeries, they have a lot of stuff, petrol stations, they have shop mart. Now these are just investments they are opening so they can get more funds, and most of them are building shopping complexes within the university premises. So, but now looking at it again, this is an educational institution. They are much of what they can invest or go into. You don't expect a university to go and open a transport company that will be taking people to Aba. Or you understand? So whatever they need to invest should be within the school environment, and they can't go and be buying stocks. You expect university to take their money and be buying stocks or buying shares.
Now, ASU has said that they're going on strike for the interest of the students, and it's not just their personal interest. But we have some Nigerians who believe that these guys are always going on strike for personal interest. But they put they raise like a camouflage to make us believe that, oh, it's because of the students. Because some people would say, okay, look at the reasons they go on strike sometimes. Governing council, one of the reasons they are saying they want to go on strike, and then funding, salary, always all around money. And we would agree that ASU strike has affected a lot of Nigerian students from time immemorial.
Yes.
For a very long time. You see some people now, they'll tell you, oh, when I was in school, I experienced it. I had to stay back, even though not as long as other people had to. Mine was 6 months. And imagine 6 months.
Some persons have said like 2 years.
Do you understand? Yes. Then that's a big problem that should be looked into. So ASU almost always going on strike. I don't know if there's any year that we don't hear ASU saying, oh, they want to go on strike. Now, I stand to be corrected on that statement. Okay. But let's get you. Are you one of those Nigerians who feel like these guys just like to put the students in front and just, you know, just like our guest said yesterday, he said that these guys also likes to go on strike so that they can travel out on vacations and all of that. That's an accusation anyway. But it goes a long way to tell you that some Nigerians believe that narrative.
Now, you know, it's personal interest anyways.
But you feel it's personal interest?
It's personal interest. But then again, if I'm in the position to impart knowledge to 50 persons behind my back and I'm hungry, I will mislead you. Now, I'm not just talking about me. I'm just giving a scenario.
Yeah, I know.
You understand? So I will like, hey, okay, you people don't want to shout so that they will pay me well. I'm hungry, I'm coming to work hungry, I'm having ulcer. Okay, we'll just go to nonsense. So you see that direction? I'm using anger. I'm coming to class, I'm shouting, I'm yelling, I'm angry. I will just fail anybody. So at the long run, they are angry. I'm having little pay. I'm at my old age. So it all boils down to personal interest. But then again, it's affecting the people at my back. These people have 4 years to spend, and I'm impacting erroneously. Wrong information, wrong behavior, wrong character, and now it's like, some Nigerian lecturers are very wicked, and they don't want you to pass because of so you see, they end up giving less than what they're supposed to give. A lot of them have potential to impact, but they were like, you fail, you pass, it's not my business.
But you know, they're talking about funding for things as critical as research. Funding for some of these, equipping some of these laboratories. Have you seen some of these?
Do you know, do we have budget for technological, under the Ministry of, I think, Technology or something? I don't know. They have budget they keep annually for ICT innovations. And I remember once I was asking somebody, what innovations has Nigeria sponsored or, you know. So where is that money going to? We have our research institutes. No, the essence of research institute for people that want to carry out research that can't finance. You go there, you submit your proposal, and they give you they finance it. So we are the research institutes across these geopolitical zones in Nigeria to encourage people. And you see why people want to run to this other country, Japan, because if you are studying for PhD, most times 50% of the PhD programs are fellowship programs, research programs, whereby they want you to research on this field. You will not pay school fees. They will even pay you money to do this. We are not inculcating these ideologies that these people are using to impact knowledge and build the society. Whereby you want somebody that wants to do PhD program, you're telling him you will pay school fees, you will do this. But the person is already tired now. How do you want to research? And these professors already, they pay heavily to carry out their research. No good, better internet facility, no, to get a better computer now you pay from 1 million upwards. So you see, there is kind of a frustrating situation. I will also say it's frustrating because, like I said earlier, if I'm not doing well, how do you want me to impact the person at the back? So to me, the lecturers should be earning as much as our House of Rep and
That's
senators.
what you actually feel.
Yes, of course. Now, what are those people doing? What are they doing there? To me,
They
should scrap the House of Assembly, House of Reps. Nothing. They are not doing anything.
You mean? You
House
actually
of Rep.
believe that?
What are they
Well,
doing?
we had Aisha Yusufu the other day calling for the same thing.
What are they doing?
Bicameral legislature.
We have
or unicameral
we have the senators. They should just go and form liaison offices in all their constituency. You report to the Senate. What are you doing? Just creating double jobs. This one will pass and push to here. All those wooden days pattern. We ourselves as citizens can have a portal. We will send our this into the Senate. Have more assistants that will compile all this and bring to the senator, and they deliberate on the what are we having House of Rep for? You paying them big money, give them softs, and they will be blowing horn every year. Lecturers that are impacting knowledge to the next generation that will take over leadership are not happy. I'll go to the class, somebody will be angry with me over what I'm not the cause. I've paid my school fees, I've bought the textbooks, I'm doing my own part, but the lecturer is angry because the government is making him angry, and I can't sort his problem out. Am I going to go and build house for him? Because most of them don't even have good house. So what is making him angry is beyond my capacity. Like a person, I might like, sir, can I buy you water? He will be angry that you are buying him water. You know, like, why are you buying me water? You are not his problem, the government. So I think there are things we need to sort out. First, medical sector. Let our doctors earn very well. So doctors will not become heartless. Some doctors that are seen as devil, they see them as devils incarnate because they feel if you don't have money, don't go to hospital. They will neglect you and you will die. So it's not supposed to be like that. Let's build our medical sector to a level whereby when we see sick people will be happy that I've come to hospital. Oh, that means I will leave. Not when you come to hospital. Oh, let's go to the finance. Let's go to the finance department until we have cleared with the finance department. That's when I have hope. So the medical sector, the teachers, the lecturers, very important. If we can capture this, and electricity, if we can capture these 4 things, man, we are not ready. This country is not yet ready because these are the things these developed countries have captured very excellently. Their medical sector, their school sector, the pre-nursery to the tertiary, and their electricity. If we can have these other ones, then people, why am I traveling to do what now when I have all this? Why? Most of the private schools that they are striving now is because they can provide these stuffs. Their teachers are happy, they have access to internet, they can make research, they can, the private universities, they go for research abroad, they come back. But which of our federal university lecturer can travel out for research and come back with his salary?
And talking about research, even when the students carry out research at the end of the session, when they carry out your BSc research or whatever, you realize that the students are just doing this because it's paperwork, and it all ends there. They believe that. The other day I heard someone say, after I'm done with all of this, we'll just throw it away.
Of course. If you happen to go down, you see some office where they parked all those projects. They just load them and they will be bending.
So how are we even promoting, encouraging research? And that's why some of these students don't even put in so much in researching anymore.
Now, the problem now is the system of education we find ourselves is a prerequisite for you to graduate. So you just give it out.
Yeah.
Somebody will just write anything. They will keep repeating topics that people have written, researched on. Now, I wouldn't blame them. I would blame the system, because most of what we call the courses in the schools are not courses people they should be, teaching Nigerians. We as a people, we are different from other countries. We are different from other nationals and race. I think they should, like we said earlier, they should develop our curriculum to fit in the kind of persons we are. Once you are doing what you love, you're studying what you love, you will be able to research and make a name. But when you are studying what you don't even have interest on, they tell you to go and research. Maybe you have interest in, for example, you have interest in fashion designing, and they are telling you to go and do research in computer technology. Like, I just want to have computer certificate. What? Because you know you will not even do anything about computer. So you just go and look for somebody and copy what somebody have done. Do some modification, write your name boldly, write your department,
There's always been the idea
pass it,
of
then cram the first letter,
oh my God,
and present and defend. Oh, you snap picture and post. But if you are being given a research in fashion design, that you have passion, man, you come out. That's why you see people that have passion in fashion designing. You see them coming out with trendy dresses, and they are taking over the world now. For example, like Vicky James and the rest of them, like Hidabasi in the food industry. They want to try new recipes and other stuff, recipes, because it's what they are passionate. They take time to sit at home. Those things are research too. You creating new design, fashion design, it's research, because you need to think, draw, process of researching, building conceptual knowledge. You understand? So if you don't have passion for that stuff, you cannot research. What you will do is, what do they call it? Is it copy and paste? Copy and paste.
So we've always had cases of this, and then students not getting their desired courses. For instance, I saw a funny picture the other day when they said, when you ask for this course, they look at you and say, nah, take this other one. And then because you have to be a graduate, and you need to graduate with your mates, your parents say, oh, take it. Just be in the university. The important thing is that you're in the university. I think that we have actually passed that level.
That's
we have advanced more than just going to school. Go to school, get the paper. Now companies are no longer even employing you because you have the paper.
No.
Back then, I know during our parents' time, that's why they pushed and said their kids must go to school, because they had issues with that paper. You need to have the paper. But these days, it's no longer about the paper. That's why people will be done with school, and they'll still go for training and retraining and retraining, and that's the certificate that will count. That training, extra training certificate. Let's take some time off now, and when we return, we have other stories lined up for you. Please stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATM.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usai, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear your network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadeyi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television.
Welcome back. The show continues. It's ATN Sunday right here on Atlantic Television Network, and I have been having an interesting conversation right here in the studio with my guest, Honorable Abel Abraham. Let's look at the next story we have for you. The leadership of the Academic Staff Union of University is still on ASU now, but this time Yobe State University branch. They have expressed worry over the proliferation of public universities without financial commitments to fund them. So you keep opening universities and not funding them. That's what they're saying. The chairman of the branch, Ahmed Ibrahim Kayad, who disclosed this while briefing journalists in Damaturu, said the public universities are facing gross underfunding epileptic or non-payment of earned academic allowances, as well as non-payment of allowances, amongst other welfare issues. Now, close to 2 decades, the budgetary allocation to education is disappointing. For example, in 2024, only 6.39% of the total budget was allocated to education in the federal government budget, and most of which were not even released for implementation. Hope cannot be renewed in education in this mood. ASU rejects any attempts to increase school fees without any corresponding inputs from the government to adequately fund education, because they believe that students cannot afford that now. And then they have also faulted the loan scheme. But before we get there, just hold that there. We'll get back to that part of the story. Let's look at the funding aspect. I've talked about this over and over again. Yes. But there's somebody, I have a regular guest here who has time again and again faulted funding the universities and funding ASU. Now, this is his thought. He feels that the whole curriculum is outdated. And in his words, he feels that the students who are graduating and the products of these universities are not really contributing to the economy of the country, in his words. And you're nodding. Looks like you're in support of that.
Yes. Like I said earlier, our curriculum, they are outdated. We need to work on it, because I don't see any reason where someone will pass through the educational process of 4 years and this person comes out to tell you, I'm jobless. Now, because the essence of you going for school is to be trained, to train your mind, equipped you for the society. Now, bringing you out and you're telling us you need a job somewhere. For example, if except your job is a professional job like the law, medical, accounting, and the rest of them, the other jobs, the other courses should be able to equip you in a way whereby you can start up something somewhere. Now, like this Yobe incident, creating more schools when you're unable to fund the ones on ground is a art of eye service.
But don't you think we need more universities? You don't think we need more?
Now, eye service is the part of the political elites now. Everybody wants to show their scorecard. This is what I did when I founded 3 federal universities. I founded this.
So you don't think we need more universities?
When you can't sustain what you have and you are building more, what's the wisdom? What's the wisdom? What's the common sense around it? You have 2 cars. You can't fuel it. You can't maintain it. You are going to buy 5 cars. What's the idea? Not like these 2 cars are not working. They are working, but you don't have the capacity to fuel it. You don't have the capacity to service it monthly. You can't even pay your driver for the 2 cars. Now you're buying 5 extra cars. Just you want people to see you as a big man. How are you going to fuel this coming 5 cars you're bringing? How are you going to pay the workers, the drivers? How are you going to service it? So that's the whole idea. We are complaining of strike. We just finished discussing how to settle these lecturers, let them have peace and continue. I want to create more federal school. No. We should have check and balances. And I think the Nigeria University Commission should be an independent body that should know. We are not giving license. They should be able to tell you, please, hold on. Let's checkmate the schools. Let's see your financial report. Let's see what you've been able to do. Let's have a thorough check of all the schools. Not bringing funding school. I think businesses thrive when private sectors and little interest of the interest presence of the government. When you allow businesses to be run solely by the government, you don't just know that business will not last.
But that's not supposed to be the case.
I've never seen an institution that is profit making, that is solely run by the government, that is doing very well. I don't know if you can quote anyone, because government, they are not there to do business. because most of the people coming in to lead, they have a tenure over their leadership. So after their tenure, they tend to leave everything, and the other person coming might choose to do whatever he wants to just to make a name for himself. So the business of education, the government should only have little percentage of influence. Now,
so you are calling for university autonomy?
The NUC should be able to be independent and take decisions, not allowing the government of the day to be tossing them because I'm a president and I want to found new schools. I would just like, we are going to establish new 7 schools. No. What we have on ground, we are suffering, we are complaining of strikes and ASU strike over the years, for more than 20 years, like we said. So let's clear off these issues instead of bringing new schools where we can't have better infrastructures. How are you going to build those giant faculties building? Because you're going to tile the roads, asphalt the roads, do landscaping.
Equip laboratories.
Yes, very expensive, millions of nairas. So why can't we inject that money to maintain the standard of the federal schools we have over the years? We have federal schools across almost all the states, if not mistaken. So why all these schools? Allow the private sectors to come in and make a name for themselves, then pay their tax. So why should the government be busy about?
Then what about the student loan that they have faulted now? I said we'll come back to that aspect of the story. The student loan, they have said that the student loan is not something, in fact, they have said that it is to cripple the future of our youths and bastardize our educational system, in their words. Instead of the loan, the government should give students study grants, just as ASU gives scholarships to students across the nation. Is this really speaking the minds of the students, or is this really talking in the welfare of the students? Student loan, what do you think about that?
Any society that wants to strive should, in terms of education, should copy those that are ahead of them, most especially when it comes to institutions like this. The idea of student loan is a universal stuff. We are not the first to do it. We are not the first to bring it. So it's obtainable elsewhere. And it helps people like Barack Obama. They went to school through student loan. And he finished, I think he paid the last money when he was rounding up his senatorial stuff like that. So you see those people complaining that those people are greedy people. They just want the government to be looking at their end. Okay, imagine I need to go to school and I have the ability to access the loan. Then I go to school. Maybe after my graduation, God bless me, I start doing my job or have a business, I can pay off the loan. The same way you go to a bank and get loan to do your business. So what's wrong there?
People are saying, people who are faulting the student loan are saying that this is a way to trap the students.
How?
Just like they have said, trap the future of the students.
How?
Because they're saying you're done with school, there's no job, how do you get to pay off the loan?
So,
and what is the guarantee that the paying of the loan is good? You have the luxury of time to get to pay off the loan.
If we are copying something, we should copy from the original prototype, right? The US and the Western world, they don't tell you you start paying your loan when you don't have money or you don't have a job. Once you have a job, so if you're done with school, you don't have a job, so how would they start taking their money? You understand? Because the whole essence of taking back that money should be true from your BVN and your bank account. So when there's no money entering there, how are you going to pay? So the whole thing should not be politicized, like they should help the less privileged. There are people that don't even have access to even go to buy textbook or buy notebooks. So if this opportunity, a lot of persons that have the passion to go to school, it will help them. Please, they should allow it. God will, this normal saying that I do say, take all the bills to God, he has already paid them. You understand? They should allow them to take that loan and go to school. Because if you now go to your politician representing you, will tell you, I can't help everybody. You go to some foundation, they will tell you, you can't help everybody. So what do you want that person to do? And they don't have access to every other persons that I can be able to afford my education, or maybe one of my siblings. But how about others? So what do you expect of them? And they want to go. Some people are naturally brilliant.
Yes.
You see
Some
them, you like Jesus.
education.
If I was like this person, I would be the president of Nigeria. You understand? So you jeopardize their dreams if you don't encourage them. Imagine the situation where they know they can access loan without going to their uncle or going to this person, and some of them will not be victimized. Okay, maybe after my school I will pay. They know they are going to school through loans. They need to be serious with their education. You know, when you know they are owing bank, that business will be serious. If bank give you money to do so.
With the way a lot of people are against this student loan, do you see it thriving? Do you see this particular project being successful and meeting the needs of the people?
You will check the people that are against it. You will check the people that are against it, their background. They are politicians. A common man, if you're coming out from the common environment where you know you don't have help, except we that are Christians that look only up to God. You don't have uncles, you don't have sisters, you only look up to God.
So I think it's just this thing of Nigerians not trusting their leaders. Whatever is coming from the leadership, some people already are looking at it like, okay, let's check. There might be a political undertone to this. So when they saw the student loan, a lot of people started faulting it and saying, no, this is another scheme to trap the students. Because how do you tell someone who there's no assurance of getting a job after school? There are a lot of people who are done with school and they're just there. And then you're saying I should come take a loan. How do I pay back?
You know, when fixing a problem, you don't fix everything at once. There will be a colossal destruction or fallout. When fixing a problem, you go one after the other. Because this table is messed up, you now turn the whole table. You spoil the table. You start cleaning from one angle. Even if you bring the best rag from the best factory, you start somewhere before you clean. You don't just go and start throwing off the table. Nigeria is in problem. Okay, a major problem already. Nigeria itself is a problem.
The economy.
Yes. No, Nigeria, because our citizens also, we are also part of this problem. So if I'm not supporting the president because we have some issues too, personally, with his policies. But the student loan is a way to go. It's part of solving the problem.
But that's also one of his policies.
Yes. Like I said, his policies, maybe some of the other policies
like
too.
Which of the policies? Fuel subsidy and the rest. I know you'll be going there. All right, let's look at this story. The presidency has responded to reports of Nigeria's total public debt reaching 121.67 trillion naira. That let's go back to that now. That's taking it. Okay, so clarifying the debt burden is not solely on the federal government. So the federal government has to come out and make a statement about this report. Nigerians have been on this one. And according to the Debt Management Office, that's DMO, Nigeria's debt increased by 24.33 trillion naira in 3 months, and from about 97 trillion naira in December 2023, it has risen to 121 trillion naira as of March 2023. And then the DMO reported that the total domestic debt stood at about 65 trillion naira, while total external debt stood at about 56 trillion naira. But however, in a statement on Friday, President Bola Tinubu's special advisor on social media, Dada Olusegun, explained that the debt represents borrowings by the federal government, 36 state governments, and the Federal Capital Territory. So it's not just, it's everybody all together. We're all borrowing. He noted that the total debt decreased about $16.77 billion in dollar terms, attributing the increase to naira depreciation and a high exchange rate. Now, the DMO used an official exchange rate of 1,330 naira to convert external debt in naira. That's compared to the 899 naira. Now, the presidency also highlighted the securitization of a portion of 7.3 trillion naira Ways and Means advances at the Central Bank of Nigeria as one of the factors influencing the increasing debt profile. Now, they have come to, I'll come back to this part where they have said that the president talked about the reduction of debt during his campaign and all of that. Now, Nigeria debt increasing. What does this mean for us?
When a man's debt profile increases, it shows that man is living above his means. It shows you're trying to flex muscles. And looking at, I'm always seeing Nigeria as a company, as a business. The CEO, like the president. Let's now use the debt profile as the debt profile of that company. If the debt profile keep increasing, that means we don't have much inflow. We keep spending, we keep collecting, we keep spending, we keep having luxury lifestyle, we keep spending, we keep so. And with that calculation now, that means over 200 and something million Nigerians are owing over 600,000 each. So everybody in Nigeria is owing 600 and something.
You're trying to look for trouble now.
So
I remember sometime, was it last year? Okay, 2 years ago, when a particular paper did that calculation, and they counted the number of people we have in Nigeria and our debt rate, and they put it by individual. You know, if you tell a Nigerian that, oh, we're owing, we have a debt rate of 24 billion naira on all the trillion, they won't really understand. Until you say, oh, guy, you're owing 600,000 naira.
You know why most time when I tell people that as a patriotic citizen, you should be involved in the politics of the day. Because whether you like it or not, their decision will affect you. Now they call it Nigeria's debt profile. They didn't say Bola Tinubu, President Bola Tinubu. They might be the one to take it, to do whatever they are doing, buy whatever, but they will now sum it as Nigeria. When it comes to problem solving, they will generalize it. But when it comes to enjoyment, it's personalized. That these people, they are supposed to benefit. These people are supposed to, is their entitlement. But when it comes to debt, it's not general Nigeria's debt profile. So the only solution out of this whole mess, we should increase productivity. We should start.
How do we do that right now?
Local economy. Our local economy should be strengthened. Local economy should be strengthened. We have so many things we can strengthen to make our economy stronger. We are just feeding on importations. I know this, for example, we have a table here. If we strengthen the local economy that is doing this and patronize them, I know it might not be up to the foreign standard of what luxury eye of ours want. But because we want to build an economy, we just want to sustain something for our future, let's just use this one for the meantime. So we will not pay that import duties. We will not buy in dollar. So once you just move and buy in your local market and start using, you will help our economy. Once we start patronizing our local industry, we will start building inflow to our economy account. Then all this borrowing, and the funny thing, what they are borrowing is just to build road, mud, cast everywhere. I have not seen them done any technological innovative.
Are you talking about so far? Are you just talking about this administration, or you're talking about generally?
Generally, whatever we have been borrowing.
Ever since we've been borrowing from administrations coming down.
Okay, now we are talking about innovations. All the innovations we are using is borrowed. They will just send to us. We will be the highest consumers. They will send. We will use. We even have people that they are thriving to build the local industry. We are using I don't know how to put it to fight them. You imagine when the presidency will give order, for example, that they should order so car for functional use and this, and people, his aides, we are trying to recommend to him that we have local plants and companies that can. He said no.
That is an outright statement now that you're making. But let's come back to the conversation now about the production, local production.
Yes.
When you talk about improving, encouraging local production, we'll look at some of the basic things on ground. You know, earlier when you were mentioning, put these basic things, education, electricity, what came to my mind was businesses, the ease of doing business. How easy, I remember the question we asked one time, how easy has the ease of doing business been, right? So companies complaining, oh, no electricity, I can't even, my business cannot thrive because there's no light, there's no water, there are no basic things that I need for my business to survive. And then that's why you see even some of our foreign companies are leaving, some of our foreign investors are leaving the country. So that's even another reason we should look inward. When the visitors are leaving, that's a time to sit down with your family members and find out, okay, which of you can do what this person has been doing while he was here? So let's look inward now. So let's also get to talk about some of the things that the government can do in looking inward at what we have and encouraging local production further, and thereby improving our export.
Okay, most of these foreign companies that came in and they are leaving now, most of them, the elites, they have what we call stakes. So they won't even want you as the locals to do that because they are not even happy that those people are leaving. Those people are leaving because...
So what do we expect to see our leaders do that would help us understand that they are really interested
we need to create an enabling environment for business. They can't do much for us. You just create an enabling environment and the SMEs will strive. When we talk about electricity and they keep increasing tariff and you pay high, you don't even see the light. And you're talking about insecurity. There are some kind of businesses you can't take to some areas. They will keep robbing you. And what again, we're talking about visibility for businesses. You see you want to do some kind of advert and some agencies will come up that they are from social local government, this. So you keep paying multiple taxes. Like, because I'm talking out of experience, I have businesses in Port Harcourt here. You see people coming with different papers and multi-taxation. It's from this local government, it's for this, for rubber, for this, for that. And so you already discouraging people that have passion. You now make people end up becoming WhatsApp CEOs. So everybody posts on WhatsApp.
Take your business online.
Yes, and start contacting their people. Now, indirectly, you're making them spend more time on WhatsApp, giving them more monetization on that app. Because they spend more time doing business there. You just see like nothing, but you spend more hours using their app and they are getting more money because they spend more hours there. They are taking the money out of Nigeria. I don't think if WhatsApp is paying any money, I don't know. But you see, they end up doing, and they make a lot of costs and connect. The government is not benefiting from that transaction. Whereas if they paid rent, they will pay tax, they will now help employ people.
Sure.
They curtail the unemployment, bringing people to work. But the whole process of doing business in Nigeria looks like you want to go and, in a situation whereby you want to go and apply for visa. You're like, let me do it 50-50. If it works, glory be to God. If it doesn't work, no problem. So we need to create an enabling environment for SMEs, small, medium enterprises. And we should also encourage the banks to leave all these big industries. I'm not saying they should leave it completely. Focus on impacting on small SMEs because they have future. That small business in 10 years, if it's consistent, it has a future. Let's see how we can be partnering with this little business that have credible and goal-oriented vision, which we know if we partner with these people in 10 years' time, they will become captain of industry to impact. So don't just leave this business to struggle on their own. You see people sell their cars. I'm talking out of experience. Sell their cars, their luxury cars, just to finance business. On the long run, you buy fuel, you buy diesel, and these things are on the high prices where you buy diesel 1,000 plus for a liter. Imagine how much of a diesel you run 24 hours. So imagine you need fuel too, and you need to pay staff, you need to pay rent, you need to
then electricity.
And now, so what's the profit? And most times you check, most of the things you're doing, some of them are imported. So now we are talking about the local industry. First, we use agriculture as a standpoint. If we focus more on agriculture can sustain Nigeria, even without any other thing.
You think?
Because agriculture is broad. Husbandry, the fish, the normal crops and the other ones. And if you check in all our meals, we are growing them in Nigeria.
Even with production, we use some of these items.
Yes. So if we even focus more on agriculture, it can sustain Nigeria's economy, which other nations are even using. So the likes of Canada, they do farming. They do farming. I'm surprised that Nigeria now see farmers like a poor man's job. But we all eat too. So
I think that's in the past. I don't know if it's still up there, because we even have youths who are making a lot of money from farming today, and they are raising awareness. They are creating awareness and telling you, good, that's where the next oil well money is coming from. Now let's look at the next story. Recall that, okay, down to the next story now. Let's take a look at the next story now. We have this story talking about electricity. You know, you mentioned electricity over and over again. Well, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission on Friday has approved 21 billion naira for electricity distribution companies and discos to procure meters for their customers. And the amount which will come from the meter acquisition fund, that's the MAF, would enable the utilities address the huge metering gap in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. And then we have the data that has shown that as at the end of April of this year, only 44.64% of the total 13.4 million registered customers have electricity meter. This is according to data now. Now, the MAF is a component of the multi-year tariff order that sets out the tariff payable by customers. We'll continue with this story on the commission and all the orders that were issued. But let's look at the fact that they have stated that a lot of consumers do not have meters. Yesterday, during our conversation here in Blowout, we actually, that's on Friday now, on our conversation, we talked about that. The fact that a lot of people do not have meters. And then we looked at some of the reasons they don't have meters, because they were talking about electricity theft, and then wanting to put up a body to fight electricity theft and implement all of those legal aspects. But now, why are people stealing this product? Why are people bypassing their meters? Why are people going to hang their wires at night? It's because they do not, because the meter is expensive. When you want to get the meter, it's quite expensive. I know there are times when they went around and they just distributed meter for free. But if you didn't get it at that time and now you want to get the meter, it's quite on the high. So now, with this money that has been released for meter acquisition, what do you think?
You know, when I saw that news, I was just smiling. If after they have collected this money, are they going to still sell those meters? Because you've been giving money, and it's billions, to purchase and distribute with an instruction, ban A users first. My problem with Nigerians, they will come down and still sell those stuff. So how are they going to remit that money back to Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Body? Because that's taxpayers' money. It's not their money. They are giving them to buy meter. Because they asked them, what happened to your revenue generation? They said, most of the people using band A don't have meters. Okay, let's give you this fund to buy meters and regulate them so we can generate fund. Now, these same people will bring that meter and be selling it. So my question now is not just releasing the money. After the purchase and distribution, are we going to get it free? If that's free, no problem. Because we know that for the one I'm using is property of PHCN, right? But I bought it with my money. So, and it's still your property. So, and I'm loading. So, if you are going to give us free, no problem. We appreciate band A users. You use it and load, then you generate your revenue. But don't come and bring it and tell us to start paying money for phase 1, 80,000, phase 2, 100 and something thousand, whereas money was given already for the purchase. So this is what we need to check very well before, because after now we won't even revisit this. It's gone and gone. They've made their money, and so please, we need to check this, because my only concern is if they are giving us free, it's okay. But if you are selling it, so how are they going to refund the money back? Because it's billions. It's not just 1 million or...
Now, the Commissioner for Legal, that's Dale Apene, has blamed the low metering rate on the inability of the discos to raise financing from their lenders, and that's why we have the low metering rates, and then the bypassing. People that have the meter now, they then bypass. When do you think would come to an end?
Sorry, do you know why they won't give them finance? Why will you think that a company like PSCN or ECO Electricity or Abuja Electricity will go to the banks for finance and they refuse? You don't have a good financial records to show them. The banks always want to see your financial records before they do it.
Why do you say they don't have good financial
records? Let me go there now. Most of these corporations, there's what we call unscrupulous activities. You tend to pay, and it doesn't reflect in the company's account. So the company will now like, people are making payment for utility bills. These are people are not being metered. So how do you checkmate and how do you regulate the collection of that money that is being paid? They don't have meter. Yes, of course. Now you are issuing bills, estimated bills. So who gets those money? And some corporation gets up to 800 million, 50 million, 60 million per month. I don't know. You see the way these people send bills, like utility bills to some corporation. You think they are buying the whole state.
Even individuals, when they send you a bill, sometimes that's when you're on estimated billing. You wonder what company you are running in your house.
And you ask them how do they even come about this estimation? Your bill for this money is 150,000, is 1 million, 15 million. And funny part, most of those money are not going through the right channels. So the records are not stable. So when you will now approach a financial institution for loans, they will like, this thing is not consistent.
They say the monies are not going through the right
channels. So we
can't.
So we cannot entrust you with our money because we don't know how we're going to get it back. So
how do we put all of these jamboring back and forth fights with electricity?
The Bible said when the foundation. Nothing. The righteous will just need to see. So Nigeria,
back to electricity.
So Nigeria is in that place whereby we need to start from one corner and be cleaning up.
I believe if everybody decides to do what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, and how they're supposed to do it, then some of these issues should already
Your boils down to mindset, perspective, and orientation. Like me, one of the electricians told me, "Oh God, this is the book for you. If you bypass them all," I said I will never do that. Any day I don't have money to load my prepaid, I rather don't use electricity. I will buy fuel. I will never. And I was insisting I need meter because when the property was new, so I was like, there's a register and be paying estimated. I said, no, give me my meter. Because I want to know what I'm using. If I'm using 1 million, let me know that I'm using 1 million. If I'm owning all my age, let me know I'm using it. So don't estimate anything for me. So it took a lot of time before because they just wanted me to be doing estimated, so that money will be going to wrong channels. I decided that I will have my meter, and I told them,
a lot of time for you
my
to
goodness,
get that.
I had to go there with my lawyer friend. Like, man, talk to these people because I paid Express.
And there's even a payment for Express.
I paid Express to even have the meter.
That's early enough. Wait, let me even get it right. You paid to get it early enough, which is different from the normal payment they will charge.
That's it.
And probably higher, if I'm right.
Very.
And then it still took a long time for you to get it.
Because they wanted me to be using the estimate. During the period I was waiting for this they were giving me heavy estimated bills. And I will keep asking them, how do you come about this? Because I had their manual. The units you are calculating is not tallying. Explain, they don't even have answers to it. Most of the persons there don't even know what they are doing. So you can't even, when a customer comes to complain, this, you should be able to explain. This is how your units were calculated. You just come to my apartment, look at the building, how big it is and how fine, and you estimate. Maybe you just find out who is inside. They say it's one big man. You estimate. So it's very wrong. And like I said earlier, when the foundation on, so we need to start somewhere.
And then even having two special payments, a payment if you want it faster, and a payment if you want to follow. It's wrong on its own.
It's completely wrong.
But at the end of the day, when you said and what? You were saying something.
And I say it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong because the system we find ourselves, we actually need to do a national orientation program, not just on
for
TV.
every Nigerian.
Every
right?
Nigerian.
Because it's not just about the leaders anymore.
Yes,
because
everybody.
Nigerians in almost every sector, you get to find that bad egg who has the ideology and believes that I'm here to make some cash for myself, so I'm only looking out for that. When you go into the real world, you find out that there are people in every aspect. I saw this a lot of times, especially during youth service when we got involved in the election. Oh my God, that was when I knew that a lot happens during those times. But you know, this story, Peter Obi, a former presidential candidate, has criticized the recent comment by President Bola Tinubu, saying that Nigeria is not the only country contending with economic hardship. This statement by the president is something that a lot of people have been talking about on social media, where he said Nigeria is not the only country experiencing hardship. Let's talk about, even though he did not say we should not talk about that, he just mentioned, let's talk about terrorism, let's talk about insecurity, let's talk about solving all of these things. Why is everybody just screaming hardship now? Nigeria is not the only country suffering from hardship. That was the statement of the president. We're back to where we actually stopped in this story, where Peter Obi is responding to that. Now, in a series of tweets on X on Friday, Obi stated that rather than comparing Nigeria with other countries, the government should focus on providing tangible solutions to Nigeria's unique problems. President Tinubu, while receiving a delegation from the National Assembly who came to felicitate with him on the occasion of the Eid al-Kabir, said that Nigeria is not the only country in the world grappling with poverty. Now, this statement has been heavily criticized, and some has actually stirred controversy on social media, especially by opposition leaders. And they said especially by opposition leaders, and now Peter Obi has given his own bits on this particular statement by the president.
Okay, you know, the position of the president, like I've been using the scenario of business, is the position of a CEO. You've been employed to direct the course of the company. Your duty is to guide, lead, direct, and protect. Now, if we as your followers, you as a leader, is complaining, my head, oh, I don't know what to do again. That means you're already putting fear, you know. You're already sending in fear to the followers that I think there's no solution to this problem. We should just be enduring. Now, you have a tenure. You were employed to do a certain job. Your job is not to complain. Your job is not to do blame game. Your job is to fix based on your capacity, because everybody have capacity on how they can deliver. And I wouldn't want to criticize or want to be biased with my commentary, but I think it's high time the leadership of Nigeria should stop all these blame games. This one will come and say this other person did this and I'm just trying to handle the situation. This one will come and this other. No. You knew that man was there and he messed up before you pick up your form that you want to lead. So you now gave you, okay, if you came in the right way or the wrong way, but you're now our leader. Fix whatever you need to fix. Take decisions, make the policies work. Just do whatever you need to do. We are all already in a status, in a situation whereby Nigerians as a people can only help themselves by first, Japa. Second, providing for your family and just manage the situation. Then third, provide your security. You see people who have dogs, have mopo, still go and license a gun. Because you are afraid. Because you know, people are taking everything now personal. You build your personal security, you provide, you build your water, you treat it. You now when you are sick, you travel hard, and so everybody are now taking a lot of things that are supposed to be basic responsibility of the government as a personal responsibilities now. We as a people are now seeing that the government is not doing anything anymore for the people. So it's the responsibility of the leader to fix the country and not to complain or to tell people to manage, because we actually gave you our vote and we have the right to ask questions.
In fixing the country now, when Nigerians are saying fix the country, and then especially Peter Obi's statement saying solve the pressing problems of the nation, stop making comparison. Now that's his statement. What are we expecting the government to do now? When we say fix the country, what are some of those moves and steps that we're expecting?
The pressing problem of Nigeria is electricity. Number one, insecurity. Education and health sector. Then let me just add agriculture. That's we need to have enough food. If we can have these 5 things running very well, I don't think anybody will even bother. So we should tackle this 5 sector with I don't know how to put it, but we should look into this sector, because imagine the cost of fuel, the cost of diesel. If there is how we can bring these stuff down, it will help, number one. Number two, if there is how we can privatize, already it's privatized, the electricity is privatized. If there's how we can, that's not my field, but if there's anyhow we can make this stuff to be generated by states, each state. So each state should handle their electricity, and each state should handle their policing and their security. So because you as a state governor, if there is insecurity, we now know you are the one not paying more attention to your people, because you are closer to the local government, you're closer to the king, you're closer to the councillors than the president. Because most times the governor will complain that the commissioner is responding to the IG of police, which is far in Abuja, controlled by the president. So if we can control our security through the state policing, control our electricity through the state government, either the Minister of Power, then the agriculture, everybody go back to farming and provide industrial farming introduction to the state, like open a place where we have industrial farming, like what we had then that the former governor of Rivers State. Yeah. So this thing will help push the states towards where we can have a stable economy, because people are suffering. You go back home, you don't have light, you need to go and get fuel. It's very high. You want to get diesel, it's high. You come back, you enter public transport, they pick up your phone, or you're being kidnapped. That's insecurity. You get back home, you can't get food. Food is expensive.
So more should be done
on those 5 years
aspects. Yes. Now, talking about some of the basic things that we need and that should be looked into, let's look at health now. As the death toll from the latest cholera outbreak has risen, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control says the country does not have enough vaccines. And according to the Director General of the Nigeria Center of Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Jide Idris, Nigeria has placed an order for more cholera vaccines from donor agencies, even though the date of delivery is still unknown, according to reports. Now, the NCDC boss has stressed the need for the country to embrace the use of vaccines and other preventive measures to curb the spread of the acute diarrhea infection. When we had the coronavirus outbreak now, it was all new. So for measures that were taken at that time to curb it, there were reactive measures, not proactive measures now. But when we talk about cholera is not new in Nigeria. This is not the first time we're having cholera outbreak in Nigeria. So when I'm looking at some of the measures that are being taken after this outbreak and how it is being handled, it shows that we need to have a roundtable discussion about handling cases like this. We're talking about the lives of people. Now look at, we're counting deaths. people are already losing loved ones. People are already losing their lives to a disease that has been there for some time now. And then, but the state governors have been coming out to tell us measures that they are taking to curb this particular infection now. But let's get your thoughts on how you think we should handle this situation. Are we handling it the right way? Are we taking steps? So how are we handling this cholera outbreak?
First, I think the survival of every Nigerian is personal. Because if you say state government are coming up with sensitization, and I've not seen anyone around. Apart from information, you should wash your hands, keep your environment clean. So there's nothing the state governments they are doing. Nothing the government is doing. They're only coming on news.
That you're aware of.
They are only coming on news to give orientation and information. So, and it's very heartbreaking hearing that we don't have the vaccines, and we are even writing to donors agency, and they have not even given us feedback when they are going to deliver. And this tells more about the kind of carelessness the health sector is. We are in a danger zone. Cholera is not new. By now we should have an industry that is producing those vaccines. We should have it. These people doing that, they don't have double heads. What's the need for research? What's the need for those allocated money they are putting for innovation, research, and this? We should have Are
we funding research enough? Are we funding research enough?
Okay, the problem now is, why are we, when it comes to health, we are all importing all the vaccines and
even drugs?
It does not show that we want to sustain what we have. We now have Nigeria ahead, this, that. If you check the lyrics of all those stuff, it now shows we are patriotic, we want to protect what we own. But in our actions, we don't act like we want to protect what we own.
That's probably why they changed the anthem, so that we can start acting in that light.
I'm surprised that they want to import vaccine, and they even wrote to donor agency, not even the manufacturers, meaning that they need free vaccine. That's to tell you they can't pay for the vaccine, because if you want to buy vaccine, you write to the manufacturers, you pay for it, they will bring it. Now you are writing to donor agency, they will approve your request and tell you, okay, we'll be able to give you so numbers of vaccine for Nigeria, and you don't even know when they are bringing it, and people are dying. And what you can do is just come to be sending news, information. People should wash your hand, or people should avoid this.
Those are basic information.
The information, but people are still dying. People are dying.
But we cannot take away the orientation part out of this. We should also let people understand that you can also protect your own self. You can wash your hands with soap.
That's why I said that Nigeria, the survival of every citizen is personal. So you need to do the basic for yourself, because the government is not there. They don't have vaccine. You go to hospital, they will write it on. I have one in my car. Go and buy it at the pharmacy. They don't have it. You now be looking around, running around to. So it's personal. The survivor is personal. If you are not ready to take your survivor personal,
more should actually be done, because, like you said, we actually put these people there for a reason. But from the news and all of the measures that we've been seeing, steps are being taken to curb the spread of this particular disease currently.
Which of the steps have you seen?
Steps are being taken.
Apart from the orientation.
State governors have come out to tell us the measures that they are taking.
That's the orientation
making sure that in schools we have the kids on.
Have you seen any state, any government official coming from the health as a supervisor to check any of the schools to know if they are putting those preventive measures on ground?
That brings what I talked about the other day. These measures that we're taking now, some of the measures in the news that we're taking, children should wash their hands, everybody wash your hands before and after using the restroom and all of that. Actually, these are things that should have been on ground normally. The children should know normally that they're supposed to wash their hands.
Daily
there should be
hygiene
these
activities.
Facilities on ground. We should not wait for an outbreak before we then start dragging the kids and saying, oh, you need to wash your hands and all of these things. I know that we cannot take away the fact that some schools actually have these on ground. Their children are
the government schools.
And that's another aspect we need to look at now.
That they don't even have decks. Some are sitting on the floor, and some have leakage. So they don't even have a restroom. They go to the bush. So a lot of, and we are talking about open defecation. These people poo at the bush nearby, and the same bush that is close to the school windows. So the government is not, they are not doing anything.
They're not, we can't say they're not doing anything.
Okay, you show me one thing they are doing now.
We can
Tell
say
me one thing.
They should do more. And we can say that we don't feel like they're doing enough.
If you are,
but saying that the governments are not doing any, you're the one that just said you're in support of the student loan. That's a move.
Okay, I'm in support.
We also talked about the other day in the news about the government. I've been mentioning this on this program over and over again. The government saying that they have their grants now, loans, I think, for business owners, small scale, large scale, a particular amount for large scale business owners, a particular amount for small scale business owners. So we are talking about manufacturing, increasing production.
Audio.
That is a move. Audio. Okay, if you say so.
They should be
we start seeing
proactive.
testimonies.
Yes, of course, we need testimonies.
Well, yes, but the other day we had a guest who said he was one of the beneficiaries of one of the grants that was given by the state government recently, I think, for businesses. Right? He said, and he also said that when he was applying for that, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you're wasting your time. That's just a lie. That's audio," like he said. But he has benefited. He's one of the beneficiaries. And at this point, I just want to use this opportunity to say thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us on ATN Sunday. I had an amazing time with you.
Thank you very much.
And we hope to have you some other time.
It's a pleasure.
Abel Abraham.
It's a pleasure.
And now we must also thank you for being a part of this conversation. Don't forget to stay connected with us on ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X at Atlantic TV Net. Remember to watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you once again for watching. I am Enidoye Jackson. Have an amazing day.
On the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and